Grand Rising. We're live. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. How was your weekend? Was it long enough? Probably not. Weekends usually are not long enough. As we are doing a special edition today of Black History, Black Herstory, and where's my phone? 8 minutes till showtime. So let me do my quick here. And oh, I need to record it, don't I? Right. That might help, right? Shut up, Tony. Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness. Oops, get your pen out your hair. Taking notes all the time. As we are celebrating Black History Special Edition today on the Female Solution and the Higher Learning Network. Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19. Today we will be discussing Black history they don't want you to know. So be sure and join us as we are joined by Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations. And you will find out information that you did not know in about 7 minutes until showtime. So please share this. And until then, stay on purpose, stay empowered, stay tuned to higher learning, because this is where you get the 411 that they don't want you to know. And please share it and like and subscribe at the Higher Learning Network TV show. Excuse me, Higher Learning YouTube, Higher Learning TV show. Shalom. All righty, now I got that out the way. And it is time for us to go and check our weather, which I already have. But I just want to be sure. Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness. Oops, get your pen out here. Taking notes all the time. Okie dokie. And that's ready to rock and roll. Oh, I'm so hot. Turn that heat off. I bet y'all won't be. 6 minutes until showtime. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I know, keep my day job, right? This is my day job. What you say? He said, "Row." Who is hot in here? Can you turn that heat off, please? I'll get up and turn it back on. I'll be, I'm live, just so you'll know. I will be cold in 30 minutes, but let me get to that 30 minutes, because right now I'm just hot. You know, they said men don't have those problems. Yes, they do. Y'all need to know. 5 minutes until showtime. Thank you. Yeah, we all get them. Oh, and if you haven't been to my if you haven't been to my what do you call it? Blog. Please do go to it. You'll be glad you did. There's some new information there. Actually, it's about the humanitarian who was murdered 55 years ago. And we'll be talking about that today. So, post. Oh, cancel. That should be my story. 12 minutes until showtime. 5 minutes until showtime. Do. 3 minutes.
Showtime.
3 minutes, y'all. Two minutes. Do-do-do-do-do. 1 minute. One minute.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing. Share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talent, share our finances. But most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Lionel, every morning at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, click the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To
My
our
family in China. Ni hao.
in India, Namaste.
Namaste.
In Japan, Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In
Annyeonghaseyo.
Russia,
Rodstutze.
in Germany, Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
In Poland, Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
In France, Bonjour.
Bonjour.
In Spain, Hola.
Hola.
In Italy, Ciao.
Ciao.
In Egypt, Asen Wasada.
Asen
In
wasada.
Ghana, Akwaba. In
Akwaba.
Nigeria, Paleo. In
Paleo.
South Africa, Sabona. In
Sabona.
Senegal, Nangada. In Kenya, Jambo.
Jambo.
In Israel, Shalom. In
Shalom.
Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
And may peace be upon you all. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks and your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio with email creation. Mondays, 7:30 to 9 a.m. Be sure to send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness spiritual coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moments with us today. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to the next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. And this is Mindful Day. Thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. And thank you so much for joining me here this morning on the Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. I'm your host. And today is Monday, February 22nd, 2221. Happy Earth Day, birthday, born day. If today's your birthday, you're celebrating, we're celebrating with you. And a very special day because 56 years ago, a humanitarian was taken from us. Someone who was trying to make it right for the Black people, indigenous people of this country who built this country. And we're going to be discussing him today. If you want more information, be sure and go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. Let us all keep in mind the sick and the shut in and those affected by the pandemic. In the news today, the Hampton movie, Judah and the Black Messiah. Have you seen it yet? It's on HBO. I haven't seen it yet. But I've been looking at the reviews. 10 million views already? Wow. And I am honored to say that the house in which the Black Panthers were killed, that's what it's about, Black History, Special Edition. The elimination of the Black Panthers who were trying to get justice, human rights for people of color. And the house, which is now, it's still on the west side of Chicago in Maywood, they are trying to make it a landmark. So go to my blog and you'll see that information there and how you can make a difference. I don't know if it's a vote you can do or anything like that, but it's imperative that you have this information. Today I'm joined by Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations, and we will be discussing this matter. And at 9 a.m. we'll be on Clubhouse, so you can join us there if you are an iPhone user. I remember the time sitting in so many fond memories, sitting in the living room of Mother Hampton, Mrs. Iberia Hampton. She's the mother of Fred Hampton and Fred Hampton Jr. She's the grandmother. She passed on a few years back. And their father, Francis, who passed on before Iberia did, Madia, we call her. And just sitting there having conversations. And wow, now they're going to make that museum. That's powerful. I can't wait to see that. Anyway, if you're listening online, thank you so much for joining us. We're on Facebook.com, HLN TV show. And you see that three letters, three colors, HLN, you'll know you're at the right place. And that's also our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV show. And you can join me right here, Facebook.com, ZeldaSpeaks. Be sure and join us. We're on Pixely.com too, Pixely, Pixely.com. That's a new social media site by the Women's Network Group, Women's Media Group. So you might want to join that too. Everybody's complaining about all the social media lockdowns. Well, now you've got a chance to do something about it. So go sign on at Pixely.com and click too, KLIKCLIK, click.com. Those apps are on your phone as well. And be sure and download the Higher Learning Network app. Yes, we have an app. We'll give you updates and resources that you may or may not have known anything about it. And it's available for you. So be sure and download the app. It says higherlearningnetwork.org. And you see that, those colors, you know you're at the right place. And if you are ever want to watch the show, it airs in Chicago Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19 and 24/7 on the website, higherlearningnetwork.org, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. And for those who know me and don't know me, if you have a diabetic in your family, they don't have to die with it. They don't have to get their limbs cut off like they tried to cut my sisters off, and my brother died from diabetes too. It's like, I am not going that route. I drink a nasty drink first thing, everything in the morning. Apple, beet, cucumber, lemon, ginger, kale. Nasty is all outdoors. It's not nasty. It's just an acquired taste. And I drink that every day. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So go to diabeticdonut.com and you'll get some information there and a free download of the ebook that I wrote. And it's yours and it's free. Now, if you want to contribute to the airing of to get an ebook that will help the homeless get generators. I wrote an ebook and it's called, I know I should have followed my first mind. How many times have you said that to yourself? Well, when you make a donation to the Higher Learning Network, which is tax deductible, you can get the free, well, it's not free, it's donation for the ebook, Douglas Robinson. 219. He was murdered in Tent City, right here in Chicago, by another homeless man. And in our dedication to the homeless, we are always raising funds for them if they need generators, heat, things of that nature. So if you know of someone who has a hardware store or has generators, then let us know. Hit us up, info@higherlearningnetwork.org. And if you notice your bills are a little high for groceries, well, that's why, and they're going to continue to get high. They're not going to go down. Be sure and check out my Tower Garden, zeldarobinson.towergarden.com. And if you're in pain, and I'm in no pain today because I did my, the Higher Learning hip roll. I did that already. And I also had my Healy, and this is my Healy. I keep it charged, and I keep that on. You go to my site, you'll see that too. That's zelda.now.site, SITE, zelda.now.site. And if you are headed out and about today, you'll be glad to know there's not a whole lot of snow. There's no shoveling snow today. 37 degrees and 41 tomorrow. That means I can go play bid whist with my friends. Yes. And traffic and weather is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. If you've ever want to go anywhere in the world, this is the time to go because people are traveling. You have the choice to stay home or you have the choice to travel. Anyway, you can travel anywhere in the continental USA and Africa too, and Asia and New Zealand and Australia and Hawaii, any of those other places you want to go. Simply go to itex.com. Be sure and tell them Zelda. Thank you, Richard Fagee. Zelda sent you, and you'll have you can get a $100 gift certificate if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner with a product or a service. You can barter. So why pay cash? It said, pay attention or pay cash. I'm paying attention. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. No delays on Metro or CTA, but as we take a look at the expressways, there's a whole other story. Inbound on the Kennedy, it's 20 minutes, 21 on the reverse. In the Edens, it's 22 minutes inbound, 24 on the reverse. On the Eisenhower into the Jane Byrne, it is a hot mess, 50 minutes and 33 on the reverse. On Stevenson inbound, 22, 18 on the reverse. On the Dan Ryan, it is 16 minutes in and 18 minutes on the reverse. There's a jackknife truck at 59th Street, and the ramp is blocked all the way back to 75th Street. So expect delays if you're on the Dan Ryan. On the Bishop Ford and Lakeshore Drive, it is 11 minutes in both directions. And the traffic and weather is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. It is 7:12, and it is time for your morning inspiration. And you know I've been reading from this book, Black People Invented Everything, by Dr. Sujan Kumar Das, DASS, of the founder of the Solutionary Institute. And he says, investigate the science of self. This is such a fascinating book. It just blows me away. Talking about branding and cornrows and everything you can think of about Black history is in this book. This is the information that they don't want you to know. Yeah, everything that was designed in this country was designed by Black folks. Let me just share this with you. Black people in Pittsburgh Hill District started the country's paramedic service. And the Black Panthers created the original forms of Head Start, WIC, and other national programs for the poor. Even Memorial Day was started by Black people. Yet this history was literally never written. Fortunately, modern day history is now correcting itself. Beginning in the 70s, Dr. Shirley Jackson experiments with theoretical touch tone dialing, the portable fax, caller ID, call waiting, and the fiber optic cable. Without Dr. Jackson, we'd be far from 5G. Meanwhile, Black mathematicians like Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson pushed the world forward. Without Otis Boykin, there would be no IBM. Okay. And thus, no personal computers or Macs. Without Mark Dean. Mark Dean was a young man I met when I spoke 20 years ago at the National Engineers Association. The PCs would not have an LCD monitor. Mark Dean did that, who's still living, and you still know him. Google him, Mark Dean, inventor. Without James E. West, we would not have the modern microphone. How about that? I'm telling you everything. And the kind used today, voice over internet protocol, they call it VoIP, VoIP, which was first developed by Marion Croak, a sister. Without Lisa Goldbator, there would be no animated GIFs. You know, the little things that pop up on the computer when you're sending a message? No GIFs or GIFs, Shockwaves or Hulu. Hulu, who thought? I just had to share that with you. Hulu! Oh, Lord, have mercy. You've been lied to. You've been bamboozled. This is the book you need to get. Black People Invented Everything, Dr. Sujan Das, D-A-S-S. Now you know what you're going to do. So now that you know, I want you to inhale on that. Take a long, deep breath and prepare yourself to be connected with the part of you that you may or may not connect to often, because it is the breath that will assist you in the process of connecting to your higher power. So, what we're going to do is breathe in and simply breathe out. So, sit up straight in your chair, feet flat on the floor. We will begin the process of simply breathing in and breathing out. In the meantime, enjoy this for just a moment because I want you to, and this is Layla Hathaway. I don't own the rights. Just breathe. That's all you got to do. Just breathe. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do is just breathe. So close your eyes, sit up straight in your chair, and inhale deeply. Hold it and exhale. Close your eyes. You should not be looking at me, but the inside of your eyelids as you inhale deeply. Hold it through your nose and exhale. Once more, inhale deeply. Giving thanks for the power of the breath because it is the breath that will connect you to that which in you, which has all the answers to the questions that you're seeking as you inhale deeply. Giving thanks for the power of the breath, knowing that you're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing because someone somewhere is unable to breathe on their own. And look at you breathing all on your own. Not a big deal. Try not breathing and see how that feels as you inhale deeply. Hold it and exhale. As we give thanks for the power of the breath, as it flows in and out of our bodies effortlessly. 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 Inhale deeply. As we connect to the higher self, leaving 3D, moving into 4D, and eventually 5D, where there's no judgment, no condemnation, no nothing, just inhaling. And giving thanks for our connection with our power, our creator, whatever we decide to call he, she, it, God, Allah, Jesus, Buddha, Yud, He, Wav, He, what spirit, omnipresence, essence, whatever you choose to call it. Call it breath. Inhale deeply. Giving thanks that the power of the breath flows from the top of our head down through our face and our neck and our shoulders as we inhale deeply. Continue breathing, giving thanks for the breath as it continues to flow down through the body, through the chest and the sides, and down through the back and the buttocks and the thighs and the hips. For those who need to do the higher learning hip roll this morning, to keep those hips, to keep that body in motion, because an 88-year-old woman at the gym told me a body in motion, what? Stays in motion. As we inhale deeply, sending love and light and energy to those thighs and those knees, and rub those knees and those legs down onto the ankles and the arches and the insteps as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, sending more love and light and energy down through the heels and the arches and the toes and wiggle those toes. Oh, your feet are smiling. Yes, they love you as you send them love, light, and energy, bringing that energy back up through the ankles and the arches and the legs and the knees and the thighs. As we inhale deeply. And exhale as we continue to bring that energy back up through the buttocks and the back and the shoulders as we grab our shoulders and we stretch and give thanks for that energy that is coming up from the back of the shoulders. And sometimes it just sits there on our shoulders, just all that tension. As we release that tension by rubbing on the neck and rubbing on the neck as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, giving thanks for the breath of life. And squeeze the back of the neck, that vagus nerve right there. Yeah, as we breathe in. Rubbing that neck, sending love and light and energy and releasing all the stress. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Take another long, deep inhale. And yes, your mind is probably wandering all over the place about your to-do list and the things you got to do and the places you got to go and the people you got to see. And it's okay because that's what the mind does. You simply say out loud to grab its attention, thinking, and bring it back and say, take another long, deep inhale. Hold it. And exhale, sending love, light, and energy back up through the head and down through the forehead and the chin and the chest and the lungs and the brain and the heart and the liver and the lungs and the assimilation system when we eat something, the digestive system when it digests the food that we've eaten, and the elimination system, most importantly, because we got to get it in. What comes in must go out. We give thanks that we are no longer constipated because we take what? Nopalina, flaxseed, chia seed, moringa, sea moss, and a whole lot of other things because we want to keep the system flowing as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we give thanks for the power of the breath and just marinate in that breath, in that quiet time. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just sent signals throughout the entire body as you have activated the happiness gene. Yes, smile, as Dr. Valentine would say, smile at your eyes, at your ears, at your brain, at your heart, at your liver, your lungs. Send them love just by picturing your organs in your mind and sending love with a smile. Yes. Sending more love to your liver. Yes. The cleaning agent of the body. Sending love and a smile to your lungs. Oh, yes. Sending a smile to your spleen. Yes, I love my spleen. Yes, I love my spine. Oh, they are reacting and they are loving you. Right back as we inhale deeply. And as we exhale, continue to breathe and sending a smile and the form of love and light and energy through your breath as you continue to inhale. Hold it and exhale. And just marinate in the goodness of that breath and the love and the light and the energy sent in the form of a smile to each and every muscle, tendon, fiber, ligament, joint in your body. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. One more long, deep inhale deeply. Hold it. And as you exhale, bring the head down, chin to chest, and slowly rotate that head to the left. Slowly, that's why you're sitting up straight so you don't get a crook in your back. And slowly bringing it around to the right. Slow down, moving too fast. And slowly bringing it around to the front. Head up, inhale deeply. And exhale, bringing your head down, right head, turning your head to the right. And slowly bringing it around to the back, slowly. Oh, feeling that stretch slowly. Oh, yes, that feels so good. Bringing the head back around to the left and around to the front. Head up slowly. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, look to your left as far as you can, feeling a stretch in the right side of the neck. And bringing the head back forward. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, turning your head to the right. Ooh, yes, feel that stretch in the left side. Ooh, doesn't that feel good? Especially if you woke up with a crook in your neck. And exhale. Inhale once more, hold it. And exhale. And just marinate in that. See how it feels. Does it feel good to you? It should as you continue to inhale and exhale, giving thanks for the power of the breath, because it is the breath that will keep you in times of chaos and confusion. And this is something that you can practice on your own. Doesn't take 10 minutes, doesn't take 5 minutes. You spend as much time or as little time as you want, but the benefits of spending more time will put you in a consistent state of mind that you are in control of whatever is going on in your life, especially if it's chaotic. You simply breathe in and breathe out. And if you got a little funk on your breath, it's good. This is the only one time you can not brush your teeth and be okay with it. You can have a little funk, a little stank on your breath. Ooh, yeah, baby. All you got to do is inhale and blow out your mouth. And I promise you, well, they will get back. They will step back. They will ease up off of you. And you'll be like, yeah, I should have did that a long time ago. So you be sure and share that and other techniques that from my YouTube channel, Zelda Speaks. And I've put my first video on Zelda Speaks breathing because I had none. I had Zelda Speaks to You and Zelda Speaks to Me. Zelda Speaks to You on YouTube is for the Higher Learning Network channel. So Zelda Speaks is just for you. Okay. So be sure and share that with somebody and like and subscribe while you're there. And when you go to the YouTube channel for the Higher Learning Network, have you seen the Fred Hampton movie? And you got to go see it. It's on HBO. We'll discuss that a little later, but be sure and join us tomorrow for Self-Care with Jody Susan. She'll be joining us. Our new hostess will be her third show on Wednesday, Naima Latif and Kareem Hamid. Repairing Family Relationships on Thursday. It's the Women's Roundtable. And I was a guest on last week. If you didn't get a chance to see that, very interesting show. So please check out last Thursday's show on The Female Solution, right here or on Facebook.com, The Female Solution. And on Friday, Health and Wellness with Liata. On Saturdays, our times are 12 noon until 2 p.m. Nonviolence with Jana on the first Saturday. On the second Saturday, Love, Joy, and Powers. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah, and she was on just this past Saturday because we're ready to travel. Our next broadcast will, not the next one, but the one after that will be in Florida with our sister Viata, who also does Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. on Soul Purpose Healing. If you didn't hear the show last night on Woundology, baby, bye. You got to go. I am making my list of 9 things that I want to happen in my life because we've been informed that this is a magical time because Metrograde is not, however they explain it. You got to go back and listen to last night's show to understand it because I am not the person to explain it, but I got that when she talked about magical moments. So I am making out my list of 9 things that I want to happen. So, and I hope that you will do the very same. And one of those is to release the continuous pain that creeps up because I'm hard-headed. I know what my problem is. The hip problem that I'm having. I go to my Bible of metaphysics, and that would be Louise Hay's Celebrate Your Life. Heal Your Life, actually, is 2. So I'm reading Heal Your Life. And the issue with hips is usually balance. And I know that I have been a little out of balance with my habits, especially where it comes to eating, because I have been eating some processed food that is not agreeing with me. I love this popcorn that I have, and I usually pop my own popcorn and in a hot popper. I have not been eating corn, but any corn is really not good because the body doesn't digest it. I digress. I go there sometime. But anyway, I know what my issue is. So, how you learning hip roll? I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for keeping me limber. In addition to the hunter method, and if you go to my blog, you'll see that too. doyouhunter.com. So that is it. It is 7:30. It is now time for our first commercial break before we're joined by Lionel Abdul Haaque. And he'll be with us after the break, so stay close.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Lionel Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body clears movement to keep its bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movements. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network and the Female Solution.
With a simple blood test and food plan, food on essentials will help your business, your family, and you eliminate toxins.
So, good morning. Are you joining us?
Step plan to nourish your mind, body,
Okay.
and
All right.
spirit.
Bye.
Click here to learn more.
Jody Susan of Susan Essentials is certified by the #1 functional medicine doctor on plant-based healing essential oils, which are revolutionizing the way we manage our well-being. Schedule today to take control of your health. You are tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in the city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage. For gifts, call us 646-359-6605, and we welcome you, helping us breathe literary life into the South Side of Chicago. We all say we would like to be wealthy, but wealth isn't determined by how much money you have. Wealth is determined by your power to define what money is. The dictionary defines money as something used as a way to pay for goods and services and to pay people for their work. So how would you like to have access to an unlimited source of money? Money that is not taxed by the government. Money that increases as you share the opportunity with others. Money that you can use to pay for goods and services and pay people for their work. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It's the future of independent wealth building. Bitcoin is the new money that you control. Get started building your wealth. Call 312-849-3456. That's 312-849-3456.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving in the loss of a loved one? Well, let's help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is a result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. Higher Learning with ZeldaSpeaks. We're just here to start your week off with a mindfulness stress relief session. Happy Earth Day, birthday, born day, if today is your birthday. Let us keep in mind the sick and the shut-in and those affected by the corona pandemic. In the news, you already know about the Hampton movie. It's taking place. Judah, the Black Messiah, has had over 10 million views. It's now playing on HBO. And be sure and follow us after the show at 9 a.m. We'll be on Clubhouse with executive producer Naima Latif of the Female Solution, and we'll be discussing that. So be sure and join in. But right now, we're joined by you. If you're listening online, you'd like to join the conversation, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. We're on Facebook.com, ZeldaSpeaks, as well as Facebook.com, HLN TV Show, and our YouTube channel, which is Higher Learning TV Show. Let us remind you to download the Higher Learning Network TV Show app. So just go to the App Store and download Higher Learning Network. When you see this logo right here, the HLN, you'll know you're at the right place. Let us welcome to the microphone, my brother of the microphone, my spiritual brother, which I'm honored to have here this morning. He usually joins us every first Monday of the month. But since we are celebrating Black History Month, this is a very special edition because there is information that is available to you that you don't know anything about, and that's why we are here to remind you and to enlighten you. So please welcome to the podium our very own brother, Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations. Thank you, Lionel, for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity. And speak to you from your listening audience.
Love the fact that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we hope to should be able to share some insights that will enrich us during this Black History Month.
Mm-hmm. Indigenous People Month, because we're not Black. That's just a label that they came up with to further throw us off guard. Black, you see this head wrap? That's Black. This and this doesn't look nothing alike. I'm what
I like to look at it. I like to look at it in the context of the ancient Kemetic people, the land that used to be called Kemet before it was changed to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
The people who built the pyramids and so forth. The great statue of monument of Haaque, Haru on the horizon. Kemet, from what I understand in my research, meant the land of the Black people.
Mm.
And it was a time when everybody was Black.
Mm.
There was nothing else. So I can relate to it in that context. It goes back before this racist application of the term came into being. So I identify with it from that perspective.
So there's some positivity in it, but for those who didn't know, they needed to know. So that's why I had to share that. So thank you so very much for sharing that insight, because it's crucial. People need to know what they don't know and how that affects us in the future as well as right now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely important right now because in the context of ancient Kemet, the land that is now called Egypt, there's this whole concept of the monument called Haru Haaque, they call the Sphinx. It's
Mm-hmm.
about, and the thing that they call the Washington Monument, which is the original,
Excuse me.
original one in New York, the Vatican, all over France and other parts of Europe. They were actually taken from the temples in Kemet, ancient Egypt, and actually moved to these various places as symbols of conquest and symbols of trying to hold on to the the powerful legacy of that civilization, which is one of the hallmarks of human achievement on the planet. And it's a symbol, the thing they call both the thing they call the Sphinx and the thing they call the Washington Monument are symbols of the resurrection, which is, from my studies, is happening right now. That the 21st century is part of this whole movement that has been going throughout history of a promise, a prophecy, if you will, that the resurrection of that civilization, which was going to go completely down to the point of virtuous death, is going to be resurrected. And that this is the time for that to happen. And it coincides with what the Christians say about Judgment Day, Armageddon. It's what the astrologers are saying about the galactic alignment that's happening, that is all coming together with a way of establishing that some major changes are taking place in the universe, and it is affecting us here on the planet. And so this is definitely, there's far more to it, and it definitely bears a great deal of study and reflection and prayer to get better understanding of what's going on in this modern world. Which, I think hopefully I'm able to share that and get people started to spark some light on the subject that will get people interested enough to do so.
And to keep us conscious, because there are always efforts to keep us unconscious. And what do you mean by that?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that, Zelda? To keep us unconscious, to continue offering us distractions. I have people who send me because they love sharing information, and I greatly appreciate it. And sometimes they go a little bit overboard. They just keep sending and sending. And, so my phone pings all day long. And sometimes I want to say, stop sending. But the minute that I decide to do that, I look up and it's information that I need and I need to share with others. So to know that all these distractions, all the news that you see, all the texts that you get, all that information is sometimes a distraction, because the answers to the questions, you already have them, but they've been buried and you didn't know it. And it takes shows like this and a guest like Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations to continue to cultivate the community, to give us the information and the insight that we need.
If I could do anything at all, I want to spark people's interest.
Yes.
So, because the more nobody can really give you the information as much as you have to put forward the effort yourself in order to really get the blessings. Like I was often say about the acts of worship, whether it be prayer or doing good deeds, or study or learning, strengthening the mind and the will. If you don't do the work, you ain't gonna get the benefit.
Right.
It doesn't help because I'm going to tell you what's right. If you're not interested in what's right yourself enough to really do what's right, you're not going to get the blessings.
Amen.
From it. And that's just the way it is. That's the way the Creator, Allah, has set it up. You reap what you sow. And the effort that you put into it, the sincerity with which you apply yourself, is measured more than the actual work that you do. So but the one actually feeds into the other. If you sincerely try and if you don't get what you strive for, the Creator will reward you for the effort that you make. And that's justice. That's supreme justice.
And at least you do get credit for the effort. Now you get a better understanding of what is meant by I'll give you E for effort. Because a lot of times people don't even try, they just give up. They just feel so overwhelmed. And there's a lot of that feeling going on right about now because we don't realize that we're being, as Brother Malcolm would say, we're being bamboozled. We're being told a story that is not necessarily the truth. How do we decipher the truth, Lionel? How do we do that?
Well, it's for me, my name, Abdul Haaque, means the servant of truth. It translates to mean the servant of truth. It also associated with sincerity and honesty. But the idea is that we have to genuinely want it. We have to genuinely seek it. That knowledge is power. The greatest thing that we have, the greatest force in the universe, is the force of consciousness, which is what the creator is. All consciousness is borrowed or as a gift from the creator to be challenged by the material world. And the spirit is very, very weak when it is born, but it grows stronger through the challenges. And that which gives you strength, that which nourishes, that which fortifies life, is the measure of whether or not it's good or evil. If it degenerates life, if it affects life in a way that makes life more difficult, in the sense of being more perilous, weakening the will, undermining the functions of life, then it is not good. It is evil. And there are those who have made their career, their life mission, to gain from the misery of others, to profit from other people's hardships. In fact, they actually create the hardship in order to be able to profit from it. And this is where we have been in the modern world. That's what we have come to in the modern world. People call it the devil. People call it Satan. Some people just call it exploitation, slave masters, people who willfully work to profit from other people's pain and suffering. And that is where we have been, but the concept of the resurrection of the dead, the concept of the establishment of justice, heaven on earth, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, is the promise. It's the prophecy that of this 21st century that is being manifested every day by the fall of this modern world's ideology and philosophy of life that has people to the point where they don't care about nothing. They only care about themselves. They only care about making themselves and their particular group, their family, their tribe, their nationality the best. And they don't really care about anybody else. In fact, they seek to exploit everybody else for the benefit of their group. And that is on the way out. That is not the way the world began, and it is not the way the world is going to end. It is going to change. There is a resurrection taking place as we speak.
So things.
And you will hear the truth, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
You will hear it and you will know it. And if you trust your inner gut, your instinct, your spirit guide, whatever you want to call it, when you hear it, you'll know. You always know the truth, because the truth is in you. You were born with the truth. They just share all these distractions with us to deter us from the truth. You'll know it. You can feel it. You can feel it in your bones. It's energy, your electricity. So how can you not know? If you just joined the conversation, we're speaking with Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque today, co-host of Community Cultivations, and he's my guest today here on the Female Solution, and we're discussing Black history. Things they don't want you to know, keep you distracted. Brother Malcolm X was a humanitarian, and that's one of the things that people overlook in his humanitarian activism. He was just not a Muslim. He was a man of an integrity. He was a man of honor. 56 years ago on this date, you will see him and what he was going through at that time, for such as a time as this. Go ahead, Lionel.
Well, part of the reason why I wanted to call in today was not just because he was assassinated on this day, but we wrote a couple of reviews. One we called "To Kill a Martyr," and I think that title speaks volumes in terms of understanding the depth that we have to go to really understand what it is that has happened, not just in the context of this individual's life and legacy, but also in the context of the ancient Kemetic revelations about the resurrection. I don't call him Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an insult.
Mm.
I think it's an insult. I think it is part of it is the main part of the main objective of those who assassinated him, was to kill what it is he was trying to do and what he represented. He had changed his name by the time he was killed. In fact, it was because he changed his name and the consciousness that he had evolved to that they feared the most. And it is that which their objective was to stop where he was trying to take us. That his conversion, his transformation from Malcolm X to Hajj Malik Shabazz was such a monumental and triumphant resurrection of a consciousness that those who create this situation in the modern world to exploit people, to deceive people, saw it as being a major blow to their continuing to do what they were doing if they had allowed people to even recognize that he had changed from Malcolm X to Malik Shabazz. And therefore they have named schools Malcolm X. They know the man's name was not Malcolm X anymore. They deliberately do not want us, anybody, to focus on the transition, the change. So they don't even use the name Malik Shabazz. They don't even refer to him as a humanitarian as you did. They refer to him as a civil rights leader. He is not a civil rights leader. That is a misappropriation of value that's even worse than him being Malcolm X, the leader of the national spokesman for the Nation of Islam. They were not civil rights leaders. They were not into civil rights. Now, the Nation of Islam never was and never into civil rights. Their focus was human rights. Malcolm was, the Malik Shabazz was trying to get us to take our issues of being mistreated into the United Nations as a human rights issue. Human rights.
Right.
which is where we should have gone.
Right.
But they were trying to stop that. The powers that be, as they are referred to, didn't want that to happen. They didn't, nor did they want people to focus on the true teaching of the religion of Islam. What the teachings of the Nation of Islam in America was not the true teaching of Islam. What Elijah Muhammad brought was not the teachings of Islam. He used to say, I'm talking of Elijah Muhammad, he said that my job is not to teach you religion. My job is to clean you up and to get you ready for the one who's going to come after me. And this is important for people to understand, get the depth of what has happened and what is still happening and what is going to happen in the future.
And
so in the context of this review, to kill a martyr is one who dies for a cause, who willing to give his life for something that he believes is so important that it's worth dying for. This is also in the context of what we've talked in the past about the meaning of the word soldier. The soul is on a journey, and the object of that journey is to find something that you're willing to give your life for. I think it was Dr. King who said a man who hasn't found something that he's willing to die for by the time he's 20, 21 years old, isn't fit to live. But this is because it is fundamental to human life to want to have a principle or an ideal. The value of ideals is what you give your life for. And to kill a martyr is to kill or to destroy or to confuse what it is he gave their life for. So to say that the brother who was Malcolm X remained Malcolm X after he died is not true. He no longer was Malcolm. He changed from Malcolm X while he was alive. And the change represented such a monumental transformation for him that it was necessary for him to change his name. It was necessary for him to change his whole outlook and his whole direction for leadership. And he said very clearly that the true religion of Islam is what was the reason for that. And he felt that it was this true religion of Islam that would really help the struggles of people in America for justice and freedom. And that's why he was killed. But the killing, the assassination, was not the worst. The worst is what has happened since by him continuing to be called Malcolm X. And to have schools named Malcolm X, and to have books named Malcolm X. And nobody even mentions hardly. You have to read real carefully to find out about the transition that he made that got him killed. And that is the real death. The real death is that his martyrdom has been virtually erased from history because people don't remember, don't focus on the changes that he made. And that's the travesty. That's the biggest travesty. And if we really want to honor the man, if we really respect the man, we have to respect the changes that he made to the extent that he did no longer want to be known by or considered Malcolm X anymore. Well, and that is indicative of the people who killed him, because they had the power to control the way what the schools were going to be named. They had the power to control the media in continuing to reflect the old person, not the person who changed. this life. They don't have that kind of power.
No.
That power comes from the same people who killed Fred Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
This movie that you were talking about, I haven't seen it yet, but I intend to, because the title is taken from the redacted FBI file, where J. Edgar Hoover explicitly said that his object is to prevent the birth of a black Messiah. Yet that's the reason why he was infiltrating the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther Party, the NAACP, the National Council, every organization of the black community was infiltrated by agents of federal government who came in representing themselves as members and actually rose to very high positions of power in those organizations in order to feed information that would lead to the destruction of those organizations. And it's still going on today.
And will probably be going on when we leave this planet until we make a decision to.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I hope not. I don't think so. And I see, and what I'm seeing is the handwriting on the wall that is indicative of the fact that it's going to change real soon. It's changing as we speak.
Yeah, because
and the truth will set people free. The more people find out about what was going on and why it was going on, the more it will change. The faster it will change. Because lies can only, corruption and evil can only exist in the presence of lies and deception. Once people get hip, once the lights come on, it's over. And there's so much light out here today that there's no way people can remain ignorant.
In honor of in honor of Brother Al-Haj Malik Shabazz, we give thanks for the opportunity to be here to speak on it today and not be gunned down physically anyway, because they're always trying to find a way to stop us. It is 8, and we need to stop for just a moment. It's 8:03 here on the Female Solution. We've got some community messages for you. You stay close, and we'll be right back to continue this discussion.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Have we touched world peace restoration of life, transcend culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society? HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I'm Director King of HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
This is Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, Spiritual Counselor and Advisor. I invite you to a private meeting in the areas of business, health, finances, relationships. My introductory cost of $20. Please call because there is a higher power that can help me help you. 312-802-4743. Peace and blessings to you all. Call me. 312-802-4743.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Do you or your organization need space for an event? Call the Quarry Event Center at 2423 East 75th Street in Chicago for your parties, banquets, award ceremonies, repasses, concerts, and business seminars. Available 7 days a week. Now under new management. Call us at the Quarry at 773-663-2557. That's 773-663-2557.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution, Higher Learning with ZeldaSpeaks, and Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations as we discuss a special edition of Black History Month with a emphasis on what they don't want you to know. But you're slowly waking up. We're all slowly waking up as we give tribute to the brother known who hasn't been acknowledged. Excuse me. They want us to keep calling him Malcolm X, but he did change his name to Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz. And for the purpose of this show, as we have been enlightened, we will continue to call him by that name. And I invite you to read the blog in which information was sent to me in reference to Mr. Shabazz. If you go to ZeldaSpeaks, excuse me, .wordpress.com, you'll see the article there at ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. You will see the information there that was sent to me by Baba Kwame Sunhorse from Georgia, who sends me a wealth of information in which I am so grateful, because it is this kind of information that will keep us on our feet, to keep us out of the dark into the light. And that's what this show is all about, Lionel, to shed light on that which has been kept from us for such a long period of time. But that's over with. The light is here. We see it, we recognize it, and we are moving forward. And we're having conversations about it. Even what's more important is that these conversations will continue to keep us in the light. So if you haven't seen that article, it's from the times I can't remember, but go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. And I wonder how many people can say his name, and let alone know his name, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz. They never want you to identify or acknowledge the truth that is within you. They want to keep us in secret. Go ahead.
It's important to understand that the Al-Hajj is a title. One who has made the pilgrimage to Mecca. It is an obligatory pilgrimage that all Muslims must make in their lifetime, and it's in Mecca. There's a house that is reputed to have been built by Abraham for the worship of one God, and over the years after Abraham, it became a center for people who worship idols. And all over the Arabian Peninsula, they would come and they would put those idols in the house that Abraham built for the worship of one God who did not have any physical form. But because of the significance of that, people began to put their idols in that house in Mecca, and Mecca became a center for worship of whatever you want to worship. They had it there in their house. And it was only when the religion of Islam was established by the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, 1,400 years ago in Arabia, that he took all those idols out of that house and reestablished it for the worship of the God of Abraham. It was not a physical material being or statue or something. And that is the monumental reality that we all have to come to if we're going to be saved, because it is idolatry. It is idolatry and false worship that is responsible for us being misled, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray. It is the worship of material things, period, that has killed our spiritual life and put the body above the spirit as opposed to the spirit being above the body. And that is what puts us like on a level like animals that can be herded like cattle and sheep, fattened up and slaughtered for the benefit of the few, while the many just become just cattle, sheep, horses, and mules for their exploitation. And this is what has happened. This is where we have been, and that is what is changing. The resurrection of that idea of worshiping God in spirit and in truth, and not in any physical material form, and not to put our own physical body over or giving it a greater priority than the life that's within the body, and that's going to leave the body when the journey of this life is over. And that's what we have to get back in touch with.
Let's take some calls. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak if you would like to join the conversation this morning as we go to the phone lines. Area code 706202, Grand Rising. You're live on the Female Solution.
Grand Rising. Assalamu alaikum to my brother. Peace be with you, my brother. How are you? I'm very grateful. Thanks for asking. You know, it's very important what you share, and understanding is very important because we have to stop taking ourselves under someone else's control, and we have to look to what's over us that is over all that exists. And these are the understandings that we are now coming into, because you say information is power. Because we look at what we call ourselves, and words have a subliminal message. Because we say we're black, or sometimes as the word people use to say, bless you when you sneeze. It's really powerful to say be less or be lack of what? Knowledge of self. And in looking at telling us as a people, now giving us a label saying these black people, they be lacking in what? Knowledge of self. And so we have to begin to look at how words are, what they say in their Helios, Biblios, is that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The part of it is that our words are resonating a frequency of a God. And how we inform ourselves, and that's even another word in saying that in we form, just as he formed man from the earth, as it said in their books. The part is that we have to learn that when we speak, we give ourselves an unconscious power more so than the conscious power, because we use more subconscious than we do conscious.
Mm.
So El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, and him being a seeker of truth after being put into a cage and guided to understand, the first thing that he began to understand was how to use words, along with understanding who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was and what he was speaking to a people. So there are many parts of his story and others that were put into positions of leadership. So we have to look at how is it that the planet is populated more with people of color than it is people of lacking of color, but the people lacking color has the power over people of color.
Okay.
Well, one power they have is power we give them.
Mm-hmm.
And we give it to them because we've been misled, bamboozled, watermarked, and and the truth will set us free. If we wake up and realize and recognize that we need to study, that we need to pray, and we need to study, and we need to work. Those three combinations will produce the kind of conscious resurrection that will save our lives. And our lives are not just not just what's going on in this life, but the next life. We have to back an important part of the processes of life is understanding the past, the present, and the future. They all work in tangent, and we have been misled about that. And all we focusing on is the present, without any consciousness of yesterday, and have no idea where it's going to lead us tomorrow.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's got to change too. Right, and you said a very important part. The truth will set us free, because within the word truth, the only vowel in that word is you.
Mm.
And how do you become free?
Mm.
That's what we have to learn to start looking at. What we're saying, but that's the part where you're saying being still in prayer. Because the thing is that once we begin to see how the words produce the energy within our heart, not our mind, because the brain is just the part that grew the body. The part that we have to understand, and this is for myself that I've learned, in that the most natural environment helps you to become that which is already in you. And being in nature and being in part of the earth, we get the necessary things that is for our survival. This is why we're to be stewards of the earth, because this is what the Creator, who created all things that we exist in, we have to understand He provided everything that we need to exist in. And the part for us as humans, we're on the part of a new evolution, because they say God is love, and evolution only says, when you read it backwards, it says, know if you love.
Mm.
Know what created you, and you'll know the love that has been given for you to have all that you are.
Powerful. We have it. We just have to know that we have it and to tap into it and to share it. Because once you have this information, you can't keep it to yourself. It's like a good piece of pound cake, for lack of a better analogy. Because I done had some bad pound cake and I done had some good pound cake. Some things are so good, you just got to tell somebody. When somebody...
Right. And
Mhm. Go ahead.
one of the great things that I've learned in it is that, and this is why, in Islam, they pray to the east, because when the sun rises, it shines upon everything on the planet. And it rises and brings light to everything to be seen. And we have to understand is that we have that power, that sun within us. So what we have to learn is how to turn on that light. And it was said that when light walks into a dark room, darkness knows what to do. It will leave.
Yes.
And that darkness is not knowing who you are. Because even in the light, there's darkness because everything has a shadow.
Well, I learned, in the Islamic religion, we don't actually pray to the east. We pray to the Kaaba, in the direction of the Kaaba. So if you west of the Kaaba, you turn to the west. You turn to the west. If you east of the Kaaba, you turn to the west. And the reason why we pray into the house is not because of the house, it's because of what the house means and what it is understanding and how it was formed. They say Abraham was praying for a place to settle after he left his father, the idolaters, that his father was a ruler over. And a meteor fell from the sky. And it fell and it became the cornerstone of this house that he built for the worship of God, and a community grew up around it. And so it's not the house so much, but it's the sign of the stone, the black stone, that is the cornerstone of that house. So it's not correct to say we pray to the east. We pray to the stone as a symbol from God to Abraham of the promise of building his kingdom on earth.
Right, and that's very much true because in studying, I researched and found that was part of the worship in the 7 times around the Kaaba. Is that was part of the worship and being able to go around that, or they would dance around it and 7 times. And so very much on point because a lot of people that don't know need to know what all of this means because it's all symbolic. And the media...
And it's all representative. And it's representative of the movement of the universe.
Right.
It moves in a circle from right to left. And if you ever look at the Hajj, you'll see these masses of people going around this house, and it looks very much like the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy.
That's what I'm hearing, and that the part is coming from above, and that's why I said about the part of what comes from above. What is above?
It's also underneath. I mean, the same symmetry exists in the molecular atomic structure.
Right.
The smallest structure. In fact, the more you study what's smaller, the more you can understand what's going on up in the heavens. And the depth of understanding that the world is getting now by quantum physics and so forth is really transforming our whole understanding of the material world.
And you're very correct because within the atom is 99.9% space. The same thing is what this planet is. And looking at it microscopically, that's why they say the micro and the macro. And being able to know everything within, Rumi says it, everything in the universe is within you. When will you learn to use yourself? Because in the oneness is all. And in no thing is everything. So it's work.
There is no such thing as no thing. If there's something there, you just don't see it.
Right. Well, no thing. And what it is that you have to understand the part of finding out what that thing is and saying that I know that I don't know, so I'm here to know.
And that's what we come. Submission is the key to understanding. It's a humble attitude, a humble spirit of learning and seeking understanding from the Creator. And looking to cultivate a spiritual disposition that will make understanding possible. And that's the word that you use in saying spiritual. How do we connect the spirit is in the word. The word is ritual. The ritual of prayer, the ritual of what we do in our culture to honor that which we know is greater than ourselves.
I love that. Spiritual. And in the inside of that word is ritual. Because those who understand and overstand that there must be a practice involved in getting away from all the partying and to go within and to study. That's part of our spirituality that we sometimes neglect. That ritual that keeps us connected to that which we call our higher power, God, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Yud, Wahve, Jehovah, whatever you choose to call it, she, it, whatever. And it is that ritual that can help us keep our sanity in times like these. And this is a conversation that is enjoyed by all. I hear, go ahead, you wanted to speak?
It's a process that requires, from our perspective, a disposition, a humble disposition. Humility is very important to the process of learning and being guided. And so I encourage people to be ready to try to be as humble as possible and to seek understanding as much as possible.
And not everyone understands that. Some say we say the same things over and over, and sometimes that's how we learn, by repeating things, by knowing that it's sometimes necessary, many times, oftentimes necessary to keep repeating the words that we need to hear. Isn't that how we learned our ABCs? Exactly. So that's what we do in order to learn. If you want to join the conversation this morning, 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak as we prepare to go into our next break here on the Female Solution. Be sure and join us tomorrow for Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan, our new host for Tuesdays. And on Wednesday, Naima Latif and Kareem Hamid, Repairing Family Relationships. On Thursday, it's the Women's Roundtable. And on Friday, Health and Wellness with Viata. Saturdays, we're on from noon until 2 p.m. Our first Saturday is Jana, our correspondent from London, England. Nonviolent communication. And the second Saturday, Love, Joy, and Powers. Third Saturday, which was this past Saturday, Move Around with Deborah, very enlightening traveling show. If you planned on traveling, you definitely need to see that show. And on fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. And, excuse me, on Sunday, Soul Purpose Healing. If you didn't hear Woundology last night, you owe yourself a favor to go back and listen to it. And you can go mark it on your calendar right now. It's 24 hours. It's always in the archive, so you can always go back and listen to it. So you be sure and do just that. We'll be right back.
Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answer yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish your book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. Take advantage of the deal of the day. Go to ZeldaSpeaks.com or call 212-409-6619. Mention promo code The Female Solution and get free shipping. That's ZeldaSpeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit ZeldaSpeaks.com. I'm Haaque, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Haaque. What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Susan Essentials on the Female Solutions Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your bodies and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Susan. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
That's Jody Susan of Susan Essentials. Is our new host, and she will be joining us tomorrow, 7 till 9 a.m. So you be sure and join in. Right now, we are joined in our last half hour with Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations as we are discussing Black history that they don't necessarily want you to know, that you deserve to know. And it reminds me of the childhood home of the Black Panthers. There's an article on Block Club Chicago, Fred Hampton's childhood home to become the community center to preserve the Black Panthers legacy and continue the party's work. Because not only there were many brothers and sisters who were dedicated to the challenge of uplifting our humanity. And the Hampton family was one of those families in which I'm honored to say my dear, Mrs. Iberia Hampton and her husband, Francis Hampton, was the mother and father of Fred Hampton, who was slain. It was a conspiracy by the Chicago Police Department, Hanrahan at the time, and a host of other local officials who murdered Fred Hampton and tried to destroy the Hampton Party, the Black Panther Party, and it's still alive and well and doing what it needs to do to continue the humanitarian efforts, just like Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, in making this place on this planet livable for people who look like us, for people who want to be treated as humans and deserve to be treated with respect. And in that respect, I open the microphone back up to our guest, Lionel Abdul Haaque. And if you would like to join the conversation, 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. Lionel Haaque, can you tell me how is it that we have gotten away from the old ways of being? You know how we say, I'm old school for life. This is what I do. How did that happen? How have we gotten away from being in that realm of knowledge that keeps us centered?
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we have been given so many images of arrogant, materialistic, boastful, mean-spirited people like Donald Trump, whose image reflects what they used to call during World War II the ugly America. When, Americans went overseas, it was this arrogant attitude of being better than others, this vain, conceited concept of life, of what life is about, that seeks to exalt what they consider to be confidence, when it's an arrogant confidence, a sense of being better than. This is an image that has taken us away from the God-fearing, spiritual life and disposition of wanting to help others, wanting to be of service. You know, a servant is not arrogant. A servant is not seeking dominance and control. A servant gains a lot of control as a result of his desire to want to serve. It is a blessing to have to be raised to a level of authority based upon service. And that's another thing about Malik Shabazz that a lot of people don't focus on, is the fact that once he accepted the ideals of service, he committed himself to it thoroughly and rose through the ranks of the Nation of Islam based upon that disposition. He was one of the consistent people out selling the paper. He was one of the consistent people who was out promoting, getting people to come to the mosque. It was his energy, it was his enthusiasm, it was his sincere effort to help his people that elevated him through the ranks of the Nation of Islam to the point of being the national spokesman. And it is through service that you get blessing. God, the Creator, Allah, blesses you when you are sincere and when you want to be of service. And the blessing that you get is understanding. Understanding is the blessing of divine. And understanding takes you deeper into the problem than what most people focus on. And that's where the real roots of the problems are. As long as you're dealing with the fruit that's rotten in the tree, you're not dealing with the real problem. The problem is not the fruit. The problem is in the tree. And sometimes it goes all the way to the root of the tree. And that's where the understanding comes from. The more you know about the tree, the better you can affect the fruit. The more you know about the seasons that affect the crop, the more you know about how and what crops to plant and what particular time. So this is why I think it's important to be humble, to have a position of service, Every major figure in scripture, whether it's the Christian scripture, the Muslim scripture, whatever, you will find people who were humble, who were not seeking self-aggrandizement, but who were seeking to serve and benefit others. And that's really where it's at.
I'm so glad you said that.
The journey of life is to be of service.
Yes.
And to prepare you to be a better servant to the Most High this is the testing ground to see how good a servant you can be based upon what you earn in your service on this planet.
Someone once said service. This is the beginning. Someone once said that service is the price you pay for the space you occupy on this planet. And I am honored to be of service to those who are less fortunate than ourselves, who woke up this morning in a warm environment. It may be a hole in the wall, but it's a warm environment. I am on a quest and a mission to continue to help the people here to be of service to the people here in Tent City in Chicago. And I want to thank Brother Baba Kwame Sunhorse and Naima Latif for joining me this past Saturday. Was it Friday or Saturday? I don't remember what day it was, on Clubhouse, where we continue our efforts and the conversation to raise funds for the homeless here in Chicago, specifically those living in Tent City. 2019, my little brother Douglas Robinson was murdered by another homeless man. They were both homeless living there in Tent City. And after his demise, I was given the instructions from the Most High that I need to help. I need to be of service. So I am being of service, and I'm asking you to join me in that, in being of service to the tenants of Tent City by going to emailing us at info@higherlearningnetwork.org. Of course, the website is higherlearningnetwork.org, in which I have written an ebook for those who want to donate. No donation is too small. And you can go to paypal.com and send a donation, and we will send you an email with the ebook entitled I Knew I Should Have Followed My First Mind. And in that, I share the story of incidences where I should have followed my first mind, and that of my little brother too, Douglas Robinson. So that is my service to the tent community, and I hope you will join me in that effort to continue to be of service to those who are outdoors living in this cold weather, because not everybody has a blanket. Not everybody has gloves. Yes, go ahead.
It's one of the things that I think is very important in the context of homelessness is the small houses that they're starting to build.
Yes.
Big things to Chicago, these little houses that people can stay in. It don't take a whole lot of construction.
Yes.
And again, you got people who have so much and they give so little.
Yes.
I would hate to think that I was I was the kind of person who have as much as people like Donald Trump have, and know that there's so much suffering in the world, and I just stack up all my money and look at it,
Right.
There are things that could be done with that money to help, not in the context of just giving people something for nothing, which I don't believe in that either. Mm-hmm. But I think in terms of motivate, people have been beaten down to the point where they just given up on life.
Yeah.
And they don't see no purpose in life. They don't see no reason in life. They've been treated cruelly. They've seen the cruelty of life and people who just don't care. And so they don't care. And I think that's a part of the problem. The more we demonstrate that people who have accumulated much should be doing much more to alleviate the suffering of those who are really suffering. And I would encourage them, I would implore them that because you can't take it with you, they say a rich man has about as much chance of getting into paradise as a needle has, or a camel has of passing through the eye of the needle. Because the material that you're going to take through there is not going to make it.
Okay.
And, you know, you got to do something with that material wealth that's going to benefit others. If you really want to, if you're sincere in your desire to really want to be of service and be one who's worthy of paradise. You can't just be sitting up on all this wealth and there's so much suffering and you ain't trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, these people who got all this money, this 1%. I mean, they can solve all the problems in the world and still have plenty. But they're not doing it. So that's a travesty.
Yes, it is. Because you cannot take it with you. You know, it would be different if we were like supposedly third world countries who you go and visit them or you see them on television and you see how supposedly they are so dirt poor, but they share whatever they have and they share it with an open heart. We don't in Western society, we don't think like that. So my question is, are they third world? We're third world in our thinking. No, we're not third world in our thinking. We need to be in a third world thought of mind as far as giving is concerned, because they give so much, what little they have and of themselves. I was watching this documentary on the homeless in I believe it was India. And it's like people are living just like in South Africa, in the shanty towns. It's like row after row after row. You know, it's almost like a little project. And they just have the basic necessities, like a mattress on the floor, if they have that, and water, and just little bit of everything. And they share it. And that's my point. Let's go to the phone lines. 312-823. You are live on the Female Solution. Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you're calling from? And what's your comment?
Grand Rising. I'm calling from Chicago. This is Rashida.
Shalom, Sister Rashida. Thanks for calling this morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. I have a comment about the homeless because there's a plethora of houses that are foreclosed on, whereas we could enforce the legislation called the Stewart v. McKinney Act, whereas people who are homeless, it's the only federal legislation for the homeless, can occupy those HUD foreclosed properties by nonprofits getting involved. So I had years ago put a petition online about it, but no one supported it. Although I had worked due diligently with homeless. So the Stewart v. McKinney Act, Title 9 of it was my proposal to the government, and it included the veterans on the job training where they could be hired at a minimum wage and repair those foreclosed properties to be occupied by the homeless. But unfortunately, we weren't supporting it, but it was supported in garbage cars and living deals and places like that. So there is a federal legislation called the Stewart v. McKinney Act where there should be no homeless. If you go to a specific garden, you see 99.9% of the people there are Black women. So we need to team up and do something and really, we Americans, about it, because it's going to be really like all over the United States. President Reagan named it the Stewart v. McKinney Act, and I am put on Title 9 for the care of those plethora of abandoned houses.
Did I hear you say that 99% of the people at Pacific Garden is women? Did I hear you say that?
Right at that.
Women, where it once was all men. Now you're telling me it's women? Really?
Yep. It was in 2018. I don't know how it is now. So I did a research and observation of it.
Okay, and what was the federal legislation that you were referred to? What was that?
It's called the Stewart B. McKinney Act.
Can
It's
you
the only federal legislation.
can you spell that, please?
Stewart.
STUA or ER or EW?
I think it's STEWART.
Okay,
McKinney.
spell. Did you say McCain?
No, McKinney. McKinney.
Oh, McKinney.
ACT.
The Stewart B. McKinney legislation.
No, the Stewart B. McKinney Act.
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 Okay.
Yeah, it's the only federal legislation for the homeless.
Oh.
So on my website, I posted if I had to get our people to do nothing at that time, but we can still do something because the legislation is still there.
Oh wow. We just have to get.
There's so many laws in our land that we don't know about and we don't utilize, and that's a problem. But I observed as well that most people who go through this homelessness have become very traumatized. So I put in there a continued care service as well, so that they could get we can get after that trauma of being homeless therapy. With the 504 Rehabilitative Act. 504 and 503.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much for sharing that information. The Stewart B. McKinney Act. I will look into that. I greatly appreciate that because I had no.
What you think about it? Okay, I want to hear what you think about it.
I will. I will definitely look into that. And next time we chat, I'll have some more information on that. So thank you so much for calling and sharing that information, Rashida.
Yeah.
And thank you, my sister. That's very informative. See, that's what this is, a close knit community. We share our resources. This is what's called being of service. You don't always have to be out there in it. You can share information just like we're sharing online just now. And we've only got a few more minutes before the show is over. Lionel, you want to give us some closing thoughts and your contact information? You got about 2 minutes. You got about 2 minutes here.
I just want to encourage people to study, to work in the cause of making our world a better place. You may not get paid for it financially, but the Creator is certainly taking account, and He knows your intent, and He knows what blessings you earn, and oftentimes the blessings that He can give you are better than material, monetary blessings.
Amen.
And, I encourage people to focus on that and try to put forward some effort in doing things that you know represent good deeds, charitable acts, and to study, to learn, to grow, to strengthen your mind and your will, to study and doing good works, things that will benefit others and benefit you beyond your wildest dreams. My number is 773-642-1453. Like to talk to people more so than emails and all that kind of stuff. I think we're part of the problem is that we're becoming less and less in contact and in touch with each other through artificial means, This whole AI technology, artificial intelligence is not working in our best interest in terms of our spiritual life. And we need to continue to work and to cultivate that spiritual life to maintain real control over this material world. So thank you very much. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to address the audience about the issue of Malik Shabar, who's going to the assassination. Again, the worst thing is the fact that we don't remember him from the sacrifice that he made to bring us the true teachings of Islam and to organize us beyond just America to unite with Africa and to unite with our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and to take forward the issue of human rights as opposed to civil rights. So thank you again. I appreciate you, brother. Shalom. Peace be upon you and your audience.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank us for the work that we all do and continue to be of service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank us. Thank us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because this is not a solo act. This is all of us here together being of service. We are about to go off the air. We will continue on Clubhouse. So if you want to make conversation or give a quote or just speak, you need to press one now if you are on the switchboard, because once 9 o'clock gets here, you will not be able to speak as we go live on Clubhouse. And you won't be able to get those comments or questions in. If you have an iPhone, I do not make the rules. I was invited myself. I invite you to join us here on Clubhouse. In about 2 minutes, we will be going live, and you will have a chance to join the conversation in the after show. It is today at 9 a.m. And in the meantime, in between time, you can join us on Facebook.com, HLN TV show, or ZeldaSpeaks, as well as our YouTube channel, which is Higher Learning TV Show. That's youtube.com, Higher Learning TV Show. And do keep in mind that if you are interested in making a donation to the Higher Learning Network, all donations are tax deductible. You can do that to help get the generators for the homeless in Tent City. And simply go to higherlearningnetwork.org. I know I talked too fast. higherlearningnetwork.org. And the email address to send that payment to is higherlearningnw@yahoo.com. I want to thank you for sharing this message, being a part of this experience, and reminding yourself that service is the price you pay for the work, the space you occupy here on the planet. As we play out our last intro, Brother Kwame, are you still with us? Baba Kwame, did you want to have a closing comment?
No, I'm
The TV show. Listen to our radio show. Order our book. And be sure to get your copy.
I'm sorry.
And when we ask the question, am I my brother's keeper, then something is wrong, because we're all one. This is what El-Hajj Malik Shabazz was very adamant about: human rights. And we as humans have to come back together.
And this is a good example of it, that we are doing that now. And I am looking for the room, and I cannot find it. And I know I did it, but I'll go to Mary Shelton because I know she's there. Thank you.
I just looked at it, and If you press your bell, it'll come up under the list text.
Okay, pressing my dismail. Let me pull that back up. Press my bell. Okay. All I get is follow.
Kenya, Asante, Israel, Sudan, Pakistan, Shukriya, Afghanistan, Tashakur, Saudi Arabia, Shukran.
Well,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Mary Shelton has started a room because I can't find it.
and may peace be upon you.
I guess I'll go to her room
And God's blessing.
because I can't find my room. So if you're joining us on, Clubhouse, I'm in Mary Shelton's room, and for those who are on the line, you can feel free to join us here. Thank you, Mary, for starting a room because I can't find our room for Monday Morning Mindfulness After Show. How about that? Guess I wasn't supposed to find it.
Well, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I was searching around. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing either.
Yeah, I did it last night. I put it for 9 a.m. this morning. Don't ask me why it didn't show up, but I'm sure glad you invited me to join this room. So, brother Baba Kwame, if you're still on the line, you can join us in Mary Shelton's room because I don't have a clue what happened to the room that I made last night. Did you invite others here to the room, Mary?
No, I was searching for you in your room.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I'm still searching for it. And I cannot. Ooh, what is that?
No, I was looking for you in your room and I was just lost.
Okay, well, we're still here on StreamYard, and I'm joined by my sister of the microphone, Naima Latif, executive director, with that great big beautiful smile and great big old pretty lips and great big old pretty teeth. So I guess we'll just continue it here. We're on Clubhouse, Naima, but I can't find the room, the Monday Morning Mindfulness After Show. So I guess you can just go ahead and proceed with the after show, and maybe I'll find it, and maybe I won't. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yes. And I'm so grateful for this show today. I think it was outstanding in helping us to understand that we're evolving. And, you know, when people, it's just like when you take a snapshot of someone and you've captured a moment in time, and it's that moment in time. But let's say you were to put that photograph up and say, well, this is this person, this is who they are, this is what they've done. And maybe it's a photograph from 10 years ago. Well, it's not really an accurate presentation of who you are and what you've done because 10 years have passed since that time. So if someone were to define you based on that moment in time, it would not be accurate. So it's the same thing as what your guest Lionel Abdul Haaque was saying about Malik El-Shabazz, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, you know, Malcolm X, who people have decided to take that moment in time and define him when in fact he, as all of us do, he was evolving, and he evolved to a higher level of understanding about life, which if we were allowed to learn, then we also would be able to evolve beyond that moment in time that they tend to hold as his identity. And pardon me just one moment.
We all have an identity that we identify with. Some have more than others. And it is time that we learn to operate in 5D, non-judgmental, as opposed to 3D, where we have an opinion and we voice that opinion. And that opinion is not necessarily always right. It's just good for right now because we said it, and that's the first thing that popped into our minds. And we don't always take the time to think things through, especially at a time like this. I'm thinking about last night on Viata's show on Soul Purpose Healing, where she was talking about how people were chasing her around Whole Foods because she didn't have a mask on. Once they took her temperature with via her wrist,
Yes.
and saw that she didn't have a temperature, it was okay. According to their thinking, because their thinking is in alignment with the powers that be that keeps us living in 3D fear and not progress in our thinking, as Brother Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz did. He was transforming his way of thinking, his way of being.
Absolutely.
And that's a challenge. It takes courage to step out on and be bold and step out, because the world is against you.
Well, it takes courage, because sometimes everybody else is saying one thing and you're the only voice saying the other thing. But you have to speak with the confidence that you are correct for where you are in your understanding. And you have to choose to lean to your understanding and follow your own connection with the Creator, because the Creator is never going to steer you wrong. And that's that inner voice that we all have. We all have the connection. We all have the capacity to hear directly from the source if we listen. And as you show people every Monday, the breath, we're breathing in the breath of life. We're bringing in the spirit of the Creator. And so if we listen to the Creator give us the answers, then we have to trust what we're hearing, even if it goes contrary to what everybody else is saying that are supposedly experts, because all they are people who've studied other people's theories. That's all it is. When you get a doctorate degree, that shows how much you have studied other people's thoughts and theories and beliefs and memorized them. It doesn't mean that you have created original thought that is contrary to what is already established. It means you memorize these things that already existed. And so as long as you memorize what already existed, you don't progress. So if all you know is what is only been known before, then we're not going anywhere. We're stuck in the same point. In order for us to progress, we have to have new knowledge, new understanding, new discoveries, new revelation. And that means people who are willing to do that have to be people who think beyond the existing belief system. And that means sometimes you're going to be all by yourself, because nobody else is going to be saying what you're saying. And it takes courage. As you said, it takes courage. And all of us need to get the courage to sometimes, what is the saying? In order to lead others, you must be first willing to go alone. Sometimes you have to go alone. Sometimes you have to be the only one saying something, but the thing you're saying is correct. And ultimately, if it's correct and if it's from the Creator, other people will eventually get that same message. It might take them a little longer. They might go a roundabout way, but ultimately they're going to get to that same point of understanding. So even with Al-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, as he was evolving in his understanding, and you know, when you live in America, all you get is American propaganda. And it's a very organized system of indoctrination, so that you learn not to think. You learn to do as you're told, because you learn to fear the consequences of not doing what you're told, just like the masks. Mm-hmm. What will happen if you don't wear it? What will happen if you don't take the injection? If you don't get vaccinated, what will happen? Well, we've been programmed to fear the consequences for all of 2020.
Yes.
Every day, death reports, every day. And never was it focused on the fact that we have damaged our body's natural immune system by the unnatural way we're living, the smog that we're breathing that has already damaged our lungs capacity, the food that we're eating that's already damaged our cells. We have not focused on that at all. We focused on, we got to find some kind of vaccine in order so that you don't die. We've been programmed for that for the whole of 2020, 12 months and beyond. So naturally, by the time we get to this point, everybody's in such a state of fear that they don't think. They don't think, well, what about if we change something we're doing that made us even be susceptible to a virus that could have damaging effects on our respiratory system? What if we stop doing things that dirty the air so that our oxygen quality was better? What if we stop cutting down all the trees that are producing the oxygen? What if we change what we're doing so that we are in better health and wellness and strength so that we are not susceptible to a virus? What if we did that? Now that's what makes sense, but that's not what's being promoted. So in order to step out and be the one who's saying something different, it takes courage. Because as we had an experience, you get attacked for not complying with what we have programmed you to follow. But, you know, that's why we're here, to help people learn how to think so that you can come to the conclusions that are in alignment with what the Creator is giving all of us in terms of information, if we would just be quiet and breathe and listen.
Just breathe. No, I can't sing.
Yeah, and we love your singing voice.
I think I like Layla Hathaway's "Breathe" better.
You know, just keep it right there in the shower, and
That's what you said, baby.
it sounds better with water in the background. You know?
It sounds so much more relaxing with water in the background. I hear you laughing, Mary. Yeah, girl. Yeah, I received that because I know I can't sing, and everybody know I can't sing. And even the water pipes in the bathroom, they just say, "Okay, here she comes."
Yeah.
Let's give her some water because it ain't happening.
And I love to sing too, you know. And
Never heard you sing.
yeah.
Okay, well, give us a little something right here. Come on.
Woo! Let's see, what song would I love? I did not say other people love to hear me sing.
Huh?
And then y'all know I did say I love to sing. I didn't say other people love to hear me sing.
Oh, okay. Okay. There's
I love to sing.
there is a difference. Wow.
I got a shower voice, you know.
A shower voice. I like that. A shower voice. Okay. Maybe we'll sing at the airport and see how many people will stare at us.
Yeah, hey, they might follow along, you know.
Okay, especially if it's a song that they know. I don't know any contemporary songs, so you know I'm old school. I know stuff I learned in church, so I know Layla Hathaway, Donny Hathaway. That I know.
Well, I saw this video. I don't know if you ever seen it, and it was this woman. She was kind of humming, singing the song. If this world were mine. You know, yeah. And then a man came along and he started singing the male version. She was singing, and next thing you know, they had this beautiful duet right there in the grocery store.
Was it in Walmart or was it the grocery store? Yeah. I remember seeing it.
Was watching and then applauded. Them two, they didn't even know each other. It just one of those spontaneous moments. I thought, oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what the world looks like when everybody just lives in love. And you know, there's no fear, there's no anger, you just enjoying life. And you can produce those kind of moments. So that's all we want. That's all the world is really evolving to, when you can just live and you can sing, you can dance, and nobody's condemning anybody, nobody's judging anybody, nobody's afraid of anybody. We see the God in all of us, and we're enjoying each other. That's all that we're striving to get to. And it's a simple thing. Just see the best in people, and then it will be there because it already is there. Yes. So one day if I break out in a song, you know, just follow along, y'all.
Okay, so what song we gonna sing? Mm-hmm. The only one I know, Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want.
Let's see. What?
That and Layla Hathaway, "Breathe." Those are my favorite songs. Breathe. Oh, and anything by Luther.
Oh yes.
So amazing. Love has truly been good to me.
Yeah,
okay.
that one too. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't want to mess up Luther's memory.
Oh.
I hear you laughing, Mary. I hear you laughing.
I know, I'm just going because of the intention. The intention is so
Intention.
really.
Thank you, my sister.
And you know, that is really all it is. See, the thing is, we are all energy. Our thoughts create energy. So if you have the intention to help someone, then first of all, you've created the energy that's helping them already. And the actions that follow are helpful. So all you have to do is just love people and have the intention for their well-being. And you know, you look at what a person is, it's where they have evolved in their understanding that all of us are connected. All of us are expressions of the Creator. All of us are worthy of love. And when we have that understanding that everywhere we go, we're going to bring that energy. So it doesn't matter where you are, who you are is going to be manifested by the way you treat people. So your brother Douglas, who he was a being who was loving and kind and generous and helped people. So where he was going to manifest that because that's who he was as a soul. Now he could have been that same being, could have been a member of Congress, could have been a school teacher, could have been somebody working in a grocery store. Wherever he functioned, he was going to be that person who loved and helped and shared because that's who he was as a being. Now you look at Donald Trump. Okay, we know he had arrogance, insensitivity, was rude, didn't play fair, all of those things. That's who he was as a being. That's where he evolved in his understanding of life. And so that's what he manifested. Now he could have been that same person, could have been living among the homeless people and, you know, been stealing their stuff or whatever, you know, and somebody that didn't have concern for other people's welfare. He could have been a school teacher, been mean to the children and, you know, kicked them out of class. I mean, he could have been whatever he was going to be manifesting what was inside of him. We just happened, we elected him as president. So we got that behavior in that office. Right. We got that behavior because we put him there. But that's who he was as a being. So wherever you are in your evolution, you're going to manifest that behavior. And we choose where we're going to be for our lesson and growth. And our life is teaching other people wherever we are. So your brother, his life was a manifestation of someone who had evolved to a level of sharing and love and kindness and giving. And his life was also meant to raise awareness about the plight of those who we have neglected and allowed to live in suffering because we're not sharing. And so his passing was also designed to raise our consciousness. That was his life's purpose. And even a Donald Trump, he had a life's purpose. You look at what happens when you are rude, inconsiderate, arrogant. This is what happens when you put a person who is in leadership with those qualities. So we experienced that. It was a lesson for us to learn. And, you know, what's funny, I remember seeing a video with President Barack Obama, and he was talking about what motivated him to go into service and you know, what motivated him to work in the neighborhoods. And then, you know, you work in the neighborhoods and try to get things done through the aldermen, and, you know, they're all selfish and, you know, corrupt and everything. So he said, okay, let me go to another level. And so he goes to the state house and becomes an elected official, and those people are all corrupt and, you know, insensitive. So he said, okay, let me go to another level. So he ends up in Congress, and, you know, those people, you know, selfish, corrupt, and you know, insensitive. So he said, well, let me go. And then he goes, becomes president. Now he's operating on all these world leaders. And he said, and they're the same people. So thinking that you're going to be at a higher level, even at the level of the United Nations, you still have the same characters, people who have not evolved past their own selfishness, mean-spiritedness, arrogance, because that's who they are. So no matter where they were going to function, that's who they were going to be. That's where they have evolved in their understanding. And you have you have also people who are at that level who are very highly evolved in their ability to share, to be loving, to try to be compassionate and make sure they take care of people's needs, because that's who they are. So all of us are souls at a level of evolution. All of us are growing in our understanding. And wherever we are in life, whatever station we are, we're going to manifest something that shows where we personally have evolved to in our own personal growth. And it's going to manifest based on how we're treating people. That's the criteria. How you treat people shows how well you have evolved as a soul toward that ultimate understanding of love, unconditional love for all.
I love that. I simply love that. We have the opportunity to do something different today that we have not done before. And that is to be mindful of others, less selfish, and to be of more service. As Brother Lionel Abdul Haaque of Community Cultivations shared with us in the show. Service is the price you pay for the space you occupy on earth. So I want you to take that with you today and ask yourself the question, how am I being of service to someone besides myself?
And that is an important part of life. Just acquiring things has no value, which you figure that out once you leave here. Like you said, can't take it with you. So how did you serve others? And that's one reason why I love going to funerals, because the homegoing ceremonies, now we've learned to even call them differently. They're homegoing ceremonies.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you said that, Naima. I thought I was the only person. I've never said that in public. She loves going to funerals. And the reason, again, because Mary didn't hear you. She's on Clubhouse. Can you repeat that, Naima?
Well, because actually they're a celebration of the person's life. And it makes you reflect on how you lived your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what you once said about you when you leave here. What did you want your life to mean to the people whose life you touched? And you realize that it only has the value that it has based on how much you helped people. Mm-hmm. If you just have a house full of stuff and that's all that can be said about you, then you've wasted your life because it meant nothing and people are going to divide up your stuff. So, what good did it do?
Thank you.
And so homegoing ceremonies are a reminder of why we're here. We're here to serve. We're here to enhance life for ourselves and others, make life better, to enjoy life, help others enjoy life. That's why we're here. And so it doesn't matter how much wealth you have. It's how you touch people's lives. Like you mentioned, the people that spoke at Douglas's homegoing ceremony and how he had enhanced their lives. And then you realize his life had meaning. His life had value. He touched people.
I had no idea.
And that's why we're here. That's the whole point. But I've been to some funerals and you realize that person, folks really didn't even like them. They couldn't figure out what to say. Even the person doing the eulogy had to make up stuff. You've been in them kind of funerals.
Like the movie Whoopi Goldberg was in. Was it King's Corner or something like that? Not Naima Latif. Whoopi Goldberg, LL Cool J, and somebody else, where the father had just passed and they were trying to limit what they were going to put on the headstone.
That movie.
We were trying to think of all these nice things, and Whoopi just said surly. He was surly. He was mean.
Yay.
All you need to know, he was mean. I do not want to show or give the impression that this was a loving man, a loving father, because he was not. He was a mean old man. That's all you need to know. Who wants to be at a funeral?
Oh my goodness.
That's horrible. That is horrible.
Horrible.
You're right.
And so, I mean, funerals remind you of the ultimate truth of who you are and how you've touched people's lives. And if people can't think of anything good to say about you and they really glad you're gone, then that tells you something about. That's why I love that. What is that movie? A Christmas Carol. Of course, it's based on the book about the guy who, Scrooge, where he had a visitation from 3 ghosts, and one was Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. And in the future, he saw his funeral, and people were dividing up his stuff and laughing, glad he was gone. And that's what changed. And he realized, if you don't change yourself, this is going to be your fate. People are going to be glad you're gone because you've served no good purpose. You're me.
Right.
So this is why we have to keep evolving to that level where every life we touch it with love, and people remember that we were of some value to them, even if it was just remembering our smile.
Yes.
But it just, because this is what we want our lives to this is what we want our lives to mean. And it's a wonderful thing when you can be a person such as a Luther Vandross, or somebody whose music gave you beautiful memories, and he was able to share his gifts and just be such a light. It's like they never die, because you're always going to play his songs. They're always going to
have to get this picture and show it to you. I got it.
Yes. So these are the reasons why we're living, and we want to think, what am I leaving behind that will always be here, even after my physical body has been returned to the earth and my life force energy has returned to the unseen realm? What do I want to leave people with that they will always remember me by? And those are the things that matter. So if we are going to evolve to that level where people are enjoying our presence, and when we leave here, they're celebrating our life, and there's something about us that they always take with us, a memory that they keep because we gave them love, then that's a successful life. It doesn't matter how much money we had, or where we lived, or how many doctorate degrees or any other kind of titles we had. How much have you loved? That's what makes success. And so you can see the success of a person when you go to their funeral. They've got all these people who love them. That's a success.
Like Cicely Tyson's funeral, it was all day. People came from all over the world to see Cicely. Yes. Queen Mother Cicely Tyson. It was broadcast all over the world. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
I didn't make it to Luther's funeral, but I didn't have to, because his spirit lives. Whenever I am stressed out, I put on anything of Luther, and it just calms me down, because, and I think it may have something to do with the fact that he has a composer. He just wasn't a musician. He had a composer who had a band. You all may be too young to remember Cannonball Adderley, a jazz musician. Well, Cannonball Adderley had a son, or as an nephew, named Nat Adderley Jr. And Nat was Luther's composer.
Oh.
And he shared the story about many of the songs that he came up with. He'd run into the studio and he'd have the songs written down on a piece of paper. And Luther's like, "Oh, that's what we doing now? We writing songs on a piece of paper?" He's like, "Yeah, I was at lunch and a piece of paper was available, and a thought came into my head and I had to write it down." I said that to say this. This is my picture of Luther. I see him every day. You see that? That's me interviewing him.
Oh my! That's the memory to keep forever. Yeah.
And that's a memory that I speak to Luther every morning, just like I speak to all my other ancestors with the plants, because it brings me joy when I'm watering my plants, and the plants are giving me life and giving us life and sustaining us. So it's a joy. Anytime I'm ticked off or I'm not feeling at my best, I just go water my plants, and Luther and I we sing a duet together. Y'all don't want to hear that duet, but
hey, one day you might break out in a song, and
okay, we might wind up doing a song together. Who knows? I might be. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I want to thank you, Naima, for coming on and sharing. I know you've got another show today.
Yeah, let me know also our dear friend L.A. Davis, longtime Female Solution family member. Yeah, he does a show called Solar Landlord. It's my house, and of course, we want you to call in. It starts now, 9:30 our time. 619-768-2945. Again, that's 619-768-2945. And his show, It's My House, is on Blog Talk Radio, of course, and you can just go to blogtalkradio.com and type in "It's My House TV," and of course it'll bring you right to this page. It's My House TV, and that is our dear friend L.A. Davis. We're going to be talking about solar energy and some of the things that we want to do for those who are living outdoors is bring them the power of the sun to heat where they are, and bring them electricity and bring them warmth. So we'll be talking about some of the ways to do that, because you never know, we could be like Texas, lights go out and we got no power and it's cold. So
in my generator today. What's that number again? I didn't write it down. I got blogtalkradio.com. It's My House TV. But what's the number again?
It's 619 768
768
2945.
619-768-2945. Because just like what happened to, we did a 3-hour show, a couple of months ago, about what happens when the lights go out, and now the lights have gone out in Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
And if the lights go out today, the question to ask yourself, are you prepared?
Are you prepared?
And if you're not prepared, what can you do today to get repaired?
That's right. That's right. And think about the fact that if you work together as a community, like we were talking about earlier, sharing, people who have very little, you've seen these villages, people don't have much of anything, but they share every little piece of bread, every little pot of soup, and there's joy and love and laughter. And you think, well, how are people this happy? They don't have anything, but they have love and they share what they have. So it's abundance and everybody's happy. That's the whole story about the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread that fed the multitudes.
Yeah. When
you share everything, it multiplies. And when you share it with love, you enjoy the companionship. There is no poverty. There is no poverty. So that's the lesson that we're here to learn and teach, so that we can live life abundantly, because we're sharing, because we're giving love. And that's our message today.
All right, now.
Naima, it was a pleasure to hear everything you shared. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you so much.
You're so welcome.
And thank you for our listening audience who joined us here on The Female Solution. We appreciate you. We thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on the next show here on The Female Solution. You can join us tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I'm sorry, did I say 10 a.m.? 7 a.m. I don't know where I got that from.
It's 10 a.m. somewhere in the world, just not.
It's 10 somewhere in the world. 7 a.m., 7 to 9 a.m. Judy Susan of Susan Essentials, Self-Sale, C-E-L-L, Self-Sale Care. And on Wednesday, Naima's right back here with us with Brother Kareem Hamid of the Repairing Family Relationships.
Yes.
Looking for my list here. I don't know what I did.
We're doing our series on our men-only discussions. And this Wednesday, we are going to ask some of the questions as to what it is that these men think that they may have done incorrectly in a relationship that ended. What they think they did that was hurtful. And, give them an opportunity to really reflect, so that we can learn how to take responsibility for the people in our lives, and we can learn how to be more loving. It's always good to reflect.
And then we can comment on Thursday with the Sisters Roundtable.
Yes.
And Friday, Health and Wellness with Viata. And we always know that's going to be a good one too. And Saturdays, first Saturday, Jana from London, Nonviolent Communication for Black people. The second one, Love, Joy, Empowers. The third one is Move Around with Deborah, which was just this past weekend. And the fourth Wednesday, Wisdom with Mama D. And then Sunday, Soul Purpose Healing, 7 p.m. at night. So you be sure and join us. And I want to thank us for making this possible. Thank you, Mary Shelton, from all the way from North Carolina. Is it North or South Carolina, Mary?
It's North.
It is North Carolina. All righty. So thank you so much for being a part of this experience on Clubhouse. And we will see you next Monday. And I'll type it in again, and hopefully it'll show up this time. I'm gonna do it right now so I don't forget. So thank you. Stay on purpose, stay empowered.
You're so welcome. Ending for this morning?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I did want to thank you for everything. I went over my book. You're in my book. Silence Isn't Golden, for all your assistance.
Really?
And yes, you're in my book for assisting me and Cornelia.
Oh, wow.
For coming on your show. So thank you again.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're just so grateful. Well, want to exit and let you all know I'll be on Blog Talk Radio and It's My House TV. Of course, call in and comment 619-768-2945.
All righty. Thank you, my sister. Namaste, shalom, hotep, and we'll see you
Namaste.
next time. Namaste.